What's happening, fam? L.A.R movement still moving. Book is entitled "Lessons from a Non-Custodial Father" at Amazon Kindle and Create Space. Link will be in the description box below, as usual. Um, how can I say this? This video is entitled "Why Shaming Black Men Won't Work." Now, in the community, we have groups just like everybody else, but in our community, heterosexual black men are basically heterosexual productive black men are basically blamed for everything. And because and now, black men, heterosexual productive black men are looked at as, mean and evil and weak because, they won't help you. And you think you're gonna be able to shame these guys into helping you, and they won't. And I'm gonna tell you why. Here's the thing. There are other black men who are heterosexual and unproductive. When they were younger, they were destructive to the community, right? Your drug dealers, your criminals, your guys who just was skirt chasing and getting chicks pregnant. The guys who were in school and they thought they was going to get a degree in swag. And even some guys who went to college and did that and dropped out or whatever. People who didn't have a goal, who didn't have a long-term goal, and they was just kicking it. So they had a lot of social skills, but they never had a long-term plan. So part of their shtick was to demonize, vilify, or marginalize people who had a plan. That the other men around them. So it was cool when they was winning, right? It was cool when they were younger and they was winning. They were getting girls and they was getting attention, and they was able to be out in the streets having fun and doing what would excite them, right? But now they're grown men and they have nothing to show for but memories, and they realize how stupid they were. Now they want the very people that had a goal to come back and help them. And you're not gonna be able to shame these black men because on that note in particular, you're a grown man too. You need to come back and help these kids. Them your kids, dog. What do I need to come back and help your kids for when you right there to help your kids? Or if you was in that life, whether somebody that whether your man's in them is locked up or dead, is it part of the code to take care of their kids when you gone? So it's your responsibility to take care of them kids. So you can't shame these guys to do it because they know ultimately, you broke the code both ways. And because all of these stories are really half truths. And because you don't want to address your part of that truth, you just blame the heterosexual productive black men. You have the business model. They were heterosexual productive black men who had businesses, but the people in the community chose the white ice was being colder. You got to remember, just like they were, and you can't shame these black men. I'm gonna tell you why. Just like there were people who frequented these businesses. There were people who ran these businesses. They had kids. They had relatives. They saw how y'all chose not to go to their business because y'all felt like the white ice or the Asian ice or the Arab ice or the Hispanic ice was colder. They saw, not to mention that, not just to mention that, the flip side of they understand where the family sold the business and sold the business out to one of these other groups, and because they wanted to get a payday to kick it because they were lazy and they didn't want to work. So now you have these type of people who realize, well, I can't go into the family business because either you sold the family business or the community didn't support the family business because, you know, they wanted to to feel more important, like they could spend their money with somebody else. So now you want those people who came up in those families and who know these businesses to come back to the community that they don't see that they'll make money in, you know, or they've completely just been turned off by it. Like, man, forget y'all, man. Forget y'all. Y'all put everybody else kids through school, but you won't put your own. Okay, whatever. Y'all, you know, y'all will work for everybody else, but you won't work for your own. Whatever. So you're not gonna be able to shame these black men because they've watched you do it. You know, a lot of times you got to stop approaching black men like they were dumb when they were little boys, they were dumb when they were teenagers, and now they're dumb as grown men. Like like everything that they saw and heard, it doesn't even exist to them. You know, I just did this in front of your face, but you didn't see that. Like, come on now. That's why the shaming tactics don't work, because you got to remember, while you're looking at them, they're looking at you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, why don't you do such and such and such? You shouldn't even be talking to me because I know you. You know, I remember you. You was the one that did this, and this, and now you want me to come from where I'm at to help you. See, let's get into this. A lot of people don't want to admit, you know, and y'all want these guys to do it for free. Just because you do it for the community. Here's the problem with that. Y'all didn't destroy the community for free. See, y'all didn't deal drugs in the community for free. Y'all didn't pimp for free. Y'all didn't not support your own for free. You had to get a deal out of it, right? Y'all didn't marginalize these men for free because you wanted to get something out of it. You know, y'all not having these broken families for free. So you're the last people who should be talking about what somebody should do just because. Just because, you know, just do it for the love out of your heart, brothers. Let me ask you a question. What does the black community do for the productive black man just out of the love of their heart? Don't worry. I don't have to wait. You can just put it in the comment section. Nothing. That's not even part of the community MO. Problem. You know. When it comes to the ladies, right? You can't shame these men because you're looking for protection, but here's the problem. These dudes did protect you. You just wanted to do your own thing. To the point where it's, you know, and here's the half-truth story with you ladies that have a problem. For 30 years, some of you 30, 40 years, y'all been raised with these mantras. And what happens is, when the mantra is working for you, you on top of the world. You tell everybody this mantra. All these black women run around with this mantra. Now, when the mantra causes you to run into a brick wall, you make up a new mantra. And you say, what's wrong? Why you black men can't fix it? No. You made that bed, you gotta lay in it. You know. And then this is where the playing stupid goes, what are you talking about? We didn't say that. We didn't do that. That wasn't that. You see, you don't understand. You know, we didn't say we didn't want you. We didn't say we didn't push you away because we felt like we could do it on our own. And now that you're gone, we're not saying that you need to do. Why haven't you done anything? Like, okay, these guys aren't stupid. I mean, these guys lived this for years, for decades, from childhood to adulthood. There's so many mantras. You remember, like, women, one of the biggest things that get a sister is if a man gets with a white woman. But y'all act like I'm 38. Y'all act like people my age and younger hadn't heard for years, well, if I ain't gonna do that, you need to go get you a white woman. So What you're mad at? You get what I'm saying? It's a problem. That's the same thing that goes on with this with the family aspect. It used to be different when people would say, this guy's a deadbeat. He abandoned his family. You can't shame these black guys because people have begun to see the hypocrisy have began to see the hypocrisy in this. And what I mean by that is they've seen just as many mothers move cities, move states, move towns, change phone numbers, and say, well, this guy doesn't care about their kid. They've seen that era when you didn't have smartphones. People grew up as those kids who, my daddy hated me, but then it's like, how many times you moved and how many schools you went to? I went to 12 schools, but and then as adults they're like, wait a minute. So when he found this address, we was at this address. When he found this address, we was at that address. People know those stories, he's a deadbeat, but every time he comes to pick up his kid, you call him the cops. You can't shame these guys. Just pay your child support mantra. And the guy pays the child support, but then child support ain't enough. Yo. I'm gonna get pregnant by you, but I'm gonna introduce, but I want my new boyfriend to raise your baby, and if you come around, we gonna say that you was trying to kill us. I mean, this is how the daughters wind up getting molested and stuff, right? We don't talk, and this is how the sons get beat. So you can't shame these black men because you're looking for this protection and provision, but you're not saying how you're looking for it. You're not saying that the black community, in essence, does not want to change or grow or evolve to be in a more productive state, because the very people who keep asking for help are the very people who enjoy dysfunction. They're not going to change the dysfunction. They get off on the dysfunction. They want you to come fix the situation that they've gotten themselves into, so you can clean up the house, and they can go right back to the dysfunction that messed it up. And you see this all the time. This is why you ain't gonna be able to shame these guys, because these guys know, it's so bad. And I'm gonna put this out there. Look at any show now, because y'all like talking about social media and entertainment, right? The men warn these women in these shows. They're the men that are stand-up guys in these shows, who the women in the community don't want to be around or turn on a dime. They have the women who are warned and they held back from doing things, and then they went and did them anyways, and they got messed up. And they go actively into situations that are dangerous for them. And you women cheer this. Even when you see it on TV, you women cheer it. Like, it's so bad that y'all watch shows with ridiculous shenanigans, and y'all going, yes, yes. And then 2, 3, 4, 5 years go by, and you're like, I didn't see that. I didn't realize that. If you can't even see it on television, you can't see it in real life. And the guys you trying to shame, they see it in real life. They know it ain't even registered to you yet. How many years did it take for y'all for those Tyler Perry movies to register to y'all that they made y'all look like nutcases? Didn't register to y'all. How many years did it take with the scandal thing? Especially they had the scene with the dude who was the black senator, but she would rather be the president's side piece getting banged in the closet to be a wife to a brother. That didn't register to y'all. How many years? It started out with all them basketball wives shows, right? Who their storyline was how their husbands or boyfriends were such bad guys and cheating them and using them, and now 5, 10 years later, you see you can't take these girls nowhere. All they gonna do is spend money, get drunk, get in fights, and start drama. And it sees why, now you know why these relationships didn't last. You know, when people talk about insecure and stuff like that, and even power, it took y'all years to realize, man, Tasha and Power was like she wanted to be in the game to the point where that's what started him cheating with Angela. She didn't want to get out the drug game. The flip side of that, insecure. He's erased writing this joint, and I'm gonna talk about toxic masculinity. But the problem is, since she's writing this story, these women don't see anything wrong with all of their horrible decisions consecutively that they're making. Ultimately, oh, I did this wrong, I did this wrong, I did this wrong, I did this wrong, I'm out of my mind, and everybody tells me I'm tripping, I'm losing it, I did this wrong, I did this wrong, I did this wrong. But you know what? It's toxic masculinity. Here's the problem with all of that. And this is why I said you can't shame these black men. Y'all are so dysfunctional that your complaints can't be taken seriously, because at the end of the day, you can't fix you. You don't see anything wrong with you. And you're trying to shame somebody else because you can't handle that you're not an adult. And you want somebody else to come along and make you an adult. And I'm talking about men and women when I say this. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want somebody to come. You need to. I'm incompetent, but I'm gonna keep running in the front, acting like I know what I'm doing. And when it's real bad, I'm gonna turn around and blame you because you shouldn't have let me get in the front. You know what? I ain't got time for this. People ain't got time for your bullshit. That's what this is about. Like, it's not. You can't shame these guys because they don't have time. They've spent enough time around you and your nonsense to know it's not gonna change because you're not gonna change. So we out.